Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Very important piece of news here. And not that when I make videos they're not important, but this is, something like breaking news, as they say. What do I have here? I have the terms, the American terms for peace in Ukraine given to the Zelensky-Stein regime. Remember, the Americans said we put together a document, a peace plan, a secret peace plan with 28 points that was issued to Zelensky and his gang and the European Union. I made a video a little while ago explaining how the European Union and Zelensky responded to this peace plan issued by the Americans unilaterally without asking the Russians. And I have here the list, the 28 points, according to a Ukrainian MP who published the terms of the new peace deal. Right here, Russia Today. Ukrainian MP publishes purported terms of new peace deal. 28 of them. Kiev earlier confirmed having received a draft from the US and signaled a readiness to discuss it. It's not discussing it. They were given this document and they were told, you got to do it. That's another article. Let me see if I have it here. Another article where they were told, you need to do it. Right here, let me just get that for you. And what Zelensky-Stein is going to do, we'll find out. Or maybe what Trump will be told what to do here. Washington demands Kiev accept U.S. drafted peace plan. According to Reuters, the framework reportedly envisages, whatever that is, envisions, whatever, Ukraine's giving all the Donbass to Russia and significantly reducing its military. This is just a few points here, but as I said, I have the whole thing. So let's see what's going on. Ukrainian opposition MP Alexei Goncharenko, right there, that's the guy, Goncharenko, has published a text of a purported peace plan reportedly presented to Kiev by the US administration this week. All right, let's see. One, here is the full text of the post. The first one, Ukraine's sovereignty will be confirmed. Under what kind of territory? So they say, yeah, Ukraine's sovereignty will be confirmed. That means we all say, you're a sovereign nation. You will remain as a nation. That was the first one. The second one, a comprehensive non-aggression agreement will be concluded between Russia, Ukraine, and Europe. All ambiguities of the past 30 years will be considered resolved. And where is the United States of America, I would like to know here. Where is the United States of America? All right. And by the way, Russia will not get burnt again by the guys from Europe and Ukraine. Why? Minsk agreements sound very real. 3. It is expected that Russia will not invade neighboring countries, plural, and that NATO will not expand further. Can NATO invade neighboring countries? Is it reciprocal or not? So Russia will not invade and we will not expand. How about Russia doesn't expand but invade or attacks? No? Okay. 4. Is it expected? This is a weird word, expected. 4. A dialogue will be conducted between Russia and NATO, mediated by the United States. To resolve all security issues and create conditions for de-escalation, thereby ensuring global security and increasing opportunities for cooperation and future economic development. Number 4 is Russia's victory. In 2021, in October, November, December, and January and early February 2022, Russia was looking after NATO like a dog in heat in order to have these guys sign a legal binding document guaranteeing Russia's security. Remember that one? We want assurances that you will not attack and not attack us or expand NATO and expand NATO into towards east. Do you remember what NATO said then? Beat it, beat it. We don't care. Beat it. Bye. See you. Never. Ooh. Call me tomorrow. I'm fishing. All right. That's exactly what NATO did. So this is Russia's victory right here. Mediated by the United States of America. What do you mean mediated? NATO is the United States. No, the United States of America must show its baboons, some citizens, that it did not lose in Ukraine. And the Russians, nice as they are, allow them to do so. Save face. Putin said many times before, we offered the Americans so many times the option to save face. They didn't lose in Ukraine. It was Ukraine who lost, when actually it was the US. Because if you say NATO, say United States of America. You don't say Romania when you say NATO, do you? Do you say Hungary or Czech Republic or Slovakia or Poland? No, you say US. And the rest are baboons. When was the last time when you heard Romania saying in the NATO meeting, God damn it, băpuleilor, faceți cum vă zic eu că vă fut Dumnezei. Have you heard Romania saying exactly those words? Which is, hey, mofos, do whatever I tell you, otherwise I will fuck you up. Huh? No, you never heard that. You heard the Americans saying, hey, baboons, this is the way we do it. Leave. Dismissed. All right. So again, Russians allowed the Americans to the mediators, when clearly is the Americans and the Brits, Anglo-Saxons, involvement in Ukraine. Move on. 5. Ukraine will receive reliable security guarantees. Very vague. By whom? China, North Korea, and Iran? Venezuela as an extra? The size of armed forces of Ukraine will be limited at 600,000 personnel. Am I reading it correctly? 600,000? What? If there would be 600, I would say yes. 600,000? No! No! Do you know Romania's armed forces? Do you know the number? I think it's 55,000. 55,000 of a population of about 17 million. Romania had a population of, during Ceausescu's times, about 24 million people. And an army of 200,000. So Romania had more than half of Ukraine's, let's say 2/3 of Ukraine, not even, but let's say 2/3, all right, of the population. And this guy's going to have 600,000 in a country that's going to be smaller and less population? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Okay, 7. Ukraine agrees. The Ukrainians were not asked, but they agreed beforehand to enshrine in its constitution that it will not join NATO. Well, this is 0. I tell you why. In any constitution, the constitution can be amended or changed, for instance, in the United States of America, with a 2/3 of a vote in the Senate, if I remember correctly, or the Congress, I want to call it. I think if they meet over there and they vote 2/3 for something to amend the constitution, done deal. So this is nothing, 0. If tomorrow in Ukraine is going to be a party who has, let's say, 80% of the electorate, and they go in the parliament, they will have 80% of the seats. That is more than 2/3 of everybody, right? 66 or something, correct? There it is. So they will change it whenever they want, or whatever it is, 60%, 60%. Right? They will change it. There's nothing. This is nothing. Right? What must be done? If you try to change it, the Americans, are going to fuck you up. But they don't say that. Okay, this is 0. And NATO agrees to include in its statutes a provision that it will not accept Ukraine in the future. All this mean nothing. Nothing. NATO agrees not to deploy troops in Ukraine. That's another Russian victory. European fighter aircraft will be stationed in Poland. European? NATO agrees not to deploy. European fighter aircraft will be stationed in Poland. Do you know where Poland is? What are these guys talking about? Ukraine is here, and this is in Poland. Aircraft right here in I don't understand that one. My bad. Okay, this is my bad. I don't know. What do you mean? No, 9. European fighter aircraft. European? What European? Europe has no army. Whatever. US guarantees The United States will receive compensation for the guarantee. Well, okay, if Ukraine invades Russia, it will lose the guarantee. If Russia invades Ukraine, in addition to a decisive coordinated military response, we have nuclear weapons, you take a shit, all global sanctions will be reinstated. Not global. There's no global sanctions. It's American sanctions and a few countries in the European Union. There's no more than 40 countries on this planet. There's no global sanctions. It's the American sanctions and threaten any other country in the world. If you do business with the free country of Russia and you supposedly are free, we are going to hurt you. There's no global sanctions. It's you, United States of America, plus about what? European Union countries and other baboons in South Korea, Japan, the Aussies, Australia, and New Zealand, and maybe Palau, Zabalau, and Papua New Guinea. You know what I mean? Okay, that's it. There's no global. Actually, this is a minority. The majority didn't impose sanctions on Russia, so you are on the wrong, according to democracy, which says that truth is based on democracy. That is, if we have 10 baboons and you have 10 people, and 9 of them are baboons. If those 9 say, okay, we were on the moon, that must be true because 9 out of 10 say we were on the moon. But the other one says, no, we were not. But democracy, 9, we all know, man. I mean, we know. I mean, come on now. Everybody knows we've been on the moon. I have a problem with that, as you can probably know. Will be reinstated. Recognition of new territories, and all other benefits of this deal will be revoked. What do I mean benefits? The Russians do not look at what they achieve and they wanted to achieve as benefits. You know what they think of those things? This is ours. This is self-evident. That were given to us by the Creator. Like the Promised Land was given to the... What are you talking about, man? So the Russians don't look at this as benefits. Like, United States of America is not in charge of this. They have to understand. The Americans have to understand, but they don't. They are just another country. That's all. In front of the international law, they are only just another country. They don't give and take shit. It's not for them to give anything. They don't give, we're going to take this, I'm going to take this back. You didn't give us. Russia earned it in the field with the AK in their hands and with Iskanders and Kinzhals, unfortunately. This deal will be revoked. If Ukraine without cause, launches a missile at Moscow or St. Petersburg, the security guarantees will be considered invalid. And what are you going to do? You let the Russians fuck them up? Remember the word without cause? What if they say the cause is a Russian attempted, suicide bomber in Kiev? What if they make it up? What if it's a forced flag operation and they say, this is it, this is the cause? They say, well, this is the self-defense. After all, Israel, you know what I mean? So again, this is weasel talk. And this is the first glance. I don't have to analyze it deeper than that. Moscow and St. Petersburg. Okay, how about they hit Sevastopol? How about they hit, let's say, go here. Let's say they hit Sevastopol right here. What if they do that? Or let's say Rostov-on-Don right here. What if they hit this one? They don't qualify? So that means only St. Petersburg and Moscow are exempt? So only Moscow and St. Petersburg, these are the two. What about Kazan? What if Kazan is hit with no whatever? What does it mean? I mean, I don't think this is the real deal. Moscow or St. Petersburg, but Kazan is free, you know what I mean? Good to go. 11. Ukraine retains the right to EU membership. The Russians have no problem with that at this point, and will receive short-term preferential access to the European market while the issue is under consideration. Okay. A powerful global peace package of measures for the reconstruction of Ukraine, including but not limited to a creation of Ukraine Development Fund. You know who's gonna reconstruct, the ones who destroyed it. To invest, B, the United States will cooperate with Ukraine on a joint reconstruction, development, modernization, and operation of Ukraine's gas. We want your gas, including pipelines and storage facilities. So we're gonna control your resources as we want to control the Russians, not we, the guys in charge of us. And the reconstruction, you know what it is? They will reconstruct as they reconstruct Afghanistan. The same way, it's gonna be I don't know how many billions of dollars, and then they take a shit. Some company is going to make a lot of money. That's why when I see Reconstruction, I'm like, so that means the military-industrial complex must destroy now as much as they can in Russia, so Russia can retaliate in kind and destroy it as much as they can, so the Americans can reconstruct. The more the Russians destroy, the more these guys have business opportunities to reconstruct. Like we don't know. Oh my God. See, joint efforts to restore war-affected territories, the same shit. Who's joint? Is Iran going to be accepted? Including the reconstruction and modernization of cities and residential areas. All these two right here, all these three things here, and the infrastructure development, extraction of minerals and natural resources. This is plundering Ukraine, and it's a business opportunity. So number 12 is we are going to be in charge of you, and we are going to, our companies that never lobbied for a war in Ukraine, never, they will have a kill. So they're going to open the market for the construction companies, for transport, for all those, everybody else. As of now, it was the military, it was gas, it was oil, liquefied natural gas, it was the banks. Now they allow others to get involved and invest and reconstruct in Ukraine. Why? After they destroyed it, the other guys are reconstructing, if you know what I mean. But in the meantime, probably they will create more weapons to help them in case of, to defend themselves. Oh my God, this is a racket. Anyway, 13. Russia will be reintegrated in the global economy. No, in the Western economy. And I'm not sure Russia would like that to happen because they are having BRICS created. So now they try to, no, Russia will not make that mistake again. They were inside, and once they stepped left, 1 degree left, they kicked them out of SWIFT. They sanctioned them, they tried to destroy them, and they couldn't. Russia will never stay on 2 feet on the Western boat. They will keep maybe one toe in the Western boat and the other leg and the rest of the toes in the BRICS and everywhere else on this planet. I think they got burned so hard with these guys, I don't think they will be reintegrated. West will never be trusted again by the Russians. If the Russians make this mistake, the English will destroy them. Not the Americans, the English. The lifting of sanctions will be discussed and agreed upon gradually. That means upon Russia's good behavior and on individual basis. Okay, so you see, these guys still think they are in charge. The United States will conclude a long-term economic cooperation agreement aimed at mutual development in the fields of energy, natural resources, infrastructure, artificial intelligence, data processing center, rare earth mining projects in the Arctic, and other mutual beneficial corporate opportunities. Russia will be invited to return to G8. No, thank you. Why? If you can kick me out whenever you don't like what I'm doing, that's going to happen in the future again. It's the same thing in America when they say, well, the rights, it's self-evident, right, that we are all equal, and the rights come from the Creator. But somehow, men and women in charge of us, our elected officials, can take your rights. No, they can't. You can't take something you haven't given. You got it? The rights are something beyond a human being to take. Otherwise, we live in slavery. You decide what kind of liberties I have. That means you're my master. So the same here, we will invite you to come in. And the Russian will say, thank you very much, I give you a counter offer. You were not going to join G8, we're going to mix it, or not even mix it. We're going to be like separate but equal. Remember that one? That was great. 14, frozen assets will be used the following way. Let's see. $100 billion of frozen Russian assets will be invested in US-led reconstruction and investment efforts in Ukraine. It ain't gonna happen. So the American companies who lobbied for war, I'm guessing, for certain candidates that will promote this garbage in Ukraine, they will get their returns back with the Russian assets. Thank you, but no. The United States will receive 50% of the profits from the undertaking. Europe will add another $100 billion to increase the total investment. And what is the United States? You know what I haven't seen yet? Where is the United States burned? The United States was the one with Victoria Nuland in Ukraine. Remember, NATO is the United States of America, not Great Britain or England. So The losing side here, just to make sure, is not Russia, is not Ukraine, is the United States of America, who used Ukraine to destroy Russia, to take its, plunder its resources. It failed. It's United States of America. I don't see anywhere so far, except we're going to accept you in G8. We might talk to you later. Maybe we're going to lift some sanctions here. I don't see no NATO towards you anymore. I don't see anywhere where the United States of America is really hurt. Where is the losing side? The United States of America is the losing side. It's not a mediator, and he's not an Isnai. No, it is. And I don't see anything so far. I'm at a 15, and the United States is always taking something. It's reconstructing with our business. We're going to take care of the resources. We're going to make sure that if you do something, we're going to hit you. Like they're in charge. Do you think the Russians really discussed like this with the Americans? If the Russians discussed these terms with the Americans ahead of time in Alaska, I don't know, my friends. I don't know. All right. Frozen European assets will be unfrozen. The remaining frozen Russian assets will be invested in separate American-Russian investment vehicle that will be implemented joint American-Russian projects in area to be determined. I wanted to point where Americans is losing. This fund will be aimed at strengthening bilateral relations, positive, and increasing shared interest in order to create strong motivation not to return to conflict. Blah, 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 blah. I love you today. I hate you tomorrow. 15. A joint American-Russian working group on security issues. This is, remember when I told you that the Americans will do this to the Russians? They can't beat them. They couldn't. So they say, hey, Ivan or Sergei, come over here, man. Come over here. I'm your friend now, man. And the Russian is like, I'm your friend, man. Come on, man. Let's have a walk, man. Let's talk about friendship. This is what's going on right now. We're going to be friends. And I'm going to come closer to you. I'm going to come closer to you. And at one point, after we are very much together, not in love, but like friends, the Russian will be a little bit, okay, man. I see that John is a nice guy again. Idiot. Sergei. He's going to drop his guard. And at one point in the middle of the night with a beautiful moon, the American will tell Sergei. John will tell Sergei, look how beautiful is our moon. And Sergei, oh my God, this guy is my friend. He's my equal. Where? And the Americans will, over there. And Sergei is going to be, fucked. Bam! With the knife in the neck, in the throat. Sorry for the representation. And Sergei is dead because they got joint ventures in security and everything like that. I want to see the Russian firms in America and communicating and cooperating into the intelligence and not only in the security in America. When KGB is going to have some offices in Washington, D.C. or West Virginia or wherever you want, Virginia, right? On CIA in Moscow, then we're talking about reciprocity. Until then, thanks, but no thanks. Move on. All right, establish facility that ensure the fulfillment of all provisions. Russia will legislatively enshrine a policy of non-aggression towards Europe and Ukraine. They have no problem with that. The United States and Russia will agree to extend the validity of treaties on non-proliferation of nuclear weapons and arms control, including START 1. I want you, United States of America, to go and check on Israel's nuclear arsenal. Until you do that, you're not serious. 18. Ukraine agrees to remain a non-nuclear state in accordance with the Treaty of Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. 19. The Zaporozhia nuclear power plant will be restarted under IAEA supervision and the generated electricity will be split equally between Russia and Ukraine 50-50. I would tell IAEA to beat it and go to hell. Look what happened to Iran. Both countries, number 20, undertake to introduce education programs in school and society to promote understanding and tolerance of different cultures. No, that's multicultural. Russia is a no, it's not. And the elimination of racism and prejudice. What is racism? If racism is love of your race, what's the problem? Racism is not the hate of other races. Let's call some prejudice. What does it mean, prejudice? That is, I think that this group is lazy because 9 out of 10 I met in the work, that I did were lazy. But the government tells me, no, actually 9 out of 10 are hardworking and only 1 is lazy. But in my experience, I find the other way around. Who should I believe? Them? Strangers with PhDs and studies, or my direct experience? Sorry, you know exactly. So again, this is a little, hey Sergey, look at the moon. This is befriending and trying to change the Russian culture. Yeah, okay. The Russians will not fall for it. Ukraine will adopt EU rules on religious tolerance and protection of linguistic minorities. Linguistic. On ethnic, motherfucker. It's not like the people in Ukraine are Ukrainian speaking Russian and the Romanians in Ukraine are Hungarians or Ukrainian speaking Romanian. But they don't call it that way. No, those are ethnic minorities. Romanians are an ethnicity and compared to others are a different race. Got that? Oh no, it's just linguistic minorities. Already weasel talk. Weasel. Both countries agreed to lift all discriminatory measures and to guarantee the rights of Ukrainian and Russian media and education. All Nazi ideology and activity must be rejected and prohibited. I would like to see that in a communist as well, because the Zelensky Steins were kind of in charge of that. So I want to see that prohibited. No? Why not? You know why. Territories. Crimea, Lugansk and Donetsk will be recognized de facto as Russia. No. I don't want de facto. I want de jure. De facto meaning, okay, all right. No, I want on writing. As de facto and de jure is Kosovo, all right, or the unification of Germany, or the separation of Czechoslovakia, or I know the collapse of Yugoslavia. I want that not de facto, de jure. Written down. Even that doesn't mean nothing, because if I come and conquer, you can kiss my ass. So, all right, where is that? Kherson and Zaporozhye will be frozen along the line of contact, which will mean de facto recognition along the line of contact. So what do they say? Lugansk, Donetsk, Crimea. Okay. Lugansk, Donetsk, which in its entirety, that means this is going to come to Russia, supposedly. That is not conquered by Russia, but will be. Zaporozhye right here frozen, Kherson right here frozen, and Crimea in Russia. So that means the Russians will stop right here. Right here. Pika paka paka, miki miki miki, tsuku tsuku tsuku, ropokopa, that's it. So this is de facto. That means we close our eye on that, but we can open it immediately. This doesn't mean nothing. Anyway, the Russians will not fall for that. Next one. Russians renounces other territories, probably referring to parts of Kherson, Sumy, Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. So supposedly they will say, we're not going to get this one right here in Sumy, we're not going to get this one in Kharkov, we're not going to get there, and we're not going to get this Dnipropetrovsk area right here. That's it. Okay, I don't think so. It's not going to fly. Ukraine forces will withdraw from the Donetsk Oblast they currently control. With this withdrawal zone will be regarded as the neutral demilitarization buffer zone, internationally recognized as territory belonging to the Russian Federation. Internationally recognized as territory. Russian forces will not enter this demilitarized zone. They're talking about this area right here. Right here. This is Donetsk. They say this is going to be demilitarized but recognized in Russia. Right here. After future territorial arrangements are agreed, both the Russian Federation and Ukraine undertake not to change these agreements by force. Any security guarantees will not apply in the event of violation of this commitment. Do you remember how the war in 24th of February 2022 started? Do you remember how it started? I tell you how. The Russians claim the Ukrainians started bombarding the ethnic Russians, not the Russian-speaking population. Because they're not Ukrainian-speaking Russian. They're ethnic Russians. Why? They avoid genetics. Okay? Because we have genders, we don't have sex. You know what I mean? It's just a hijacking of terms and reality. So they say here that that's the way it started. That's why the Russians invaded. Because the Russians said, the Ukrainians attacked our guys in East Ukraine and they broke a ceasefire according to the Minsk Agreement 2015, the second one. That's how we start. And the Ukrainians say, no, 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 it was the Russians. So if you ask the Russians, it was the Ukrainians who violated. If you ask the Ukrainians, it was the Russians. So the same thing will happen again. When Ukraine gets a little bit and NATO brings and prepares them, then they're going to go to round 2 and say the Russians violated, every guarantees collapse, everything, let's get at it. It's not going to happen. And we have 600,000 Ukrainian military. Bullshit. Trained by NATO. Russia will not obstruct Ukraine's commercial use of the Dnieper River, and agreements will be reached on the free transportation of grain across the Black Sea. So the Russians will not obstruct. Okay, where is the Dnieper River? The Dnieper River is right here. Paka paka, zupu tsupu, koporopo, lupu lupu. Okay, this is the Dnieper River. So the Russians will not disrupt this right here, and from here, supposedly, it goes completely in Ukraine, so there's nothing to disrupt. So they're talking about the Zaporozhye right here, and the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, and Kherson, whatever is left here between this Ukrainian Kherson and Russian Kherson. This is what they're talking about. And the Black Sea is below here from Odessa. That means Odessa will be Ukrainian. I strongly doubt the Russians will allow that. 24. Humanitarian committee will be created to resolve outstanding issues. All remaining prisoners and bodies will be exchanged. All civilian detainees, all family reunification. Measures will be taken to alleviate the suffering of conflict victims. Good. 25. Ukraine will hold the election 100 days after the agreement is signed. Who will organize it? Who will be the overseer? The Russians, the international community, or the Americans? All parties involved in the conflict will receive full amnesty for actions committed during the war and will undertake not to file claims or pursue complaints in the future. So Bucha took a shit. There you go. 27. The agreement will be legally binding. Its implementation will be monitored and guaranteed by Peace Council headed by President... No, please don't. No. Please. This is where it turns into a kabuki theater. This agreement will be legally binding. Its implementation will be monitored. That means it's going to be in charge and guaranteed by a peace council headed by the losing side. What the fuck is it? Predetermined sanctions will apply in the event of violations. Can the Americans violate anything? No. Yeah, my God, this is a fake. 28. Once all parties have agreed to and signed this memorandum, the ceasefire will enter into force immediately after both sides withdraw to the agreed positions so that implementation of the agreement can begin. Conclusions. The Americans are in charge. They won. And they got these kids, Russia and Ukraine. Hey, stop. I have to stop this. Like a father enters the room where the kids are fighting and say, hey, Gigi and Gigi number 2, stop, smack them a little bit, send them over there, and then they show the belt. Psh, psh, psh. Whomever fucks up, I'm gonna turn you into a zebra. And they're like, oh my God, daddy. Really? Really? I mean, you tell me what the Americans lost. Tell me one thing that they got hurt. One, the NATO expansion. They are going to have the Ukrainians having supposedly 600,000 people. No expansion. And the violation will occur from the Russian side. I guarantee you that. And the media will tell you that. And they will give you all the evidence. You understand? This is a joke. I don't think... I made a video, and I don't know if I published before this one or after this. I don't know exactly. I have too many videos made, and I don't know when to publish them. When I tell you who wrote this, some who wrote this, this is a joke, man. This is a joke. It's written with a lot of chutzpah, because it's written by two chutzpahs, Witkov and Kushner. Can you believe? Kushner was in the room when they came with 28. That's in the video I made. Go and check it out. Or maybe you already did. And if you didn't, go and watch it, God damn it. Anyway, so here it is, my friends. The Americans are the daddy. Not voted, but somehow it's unbelievable. This guy's arrogance. I haven't heard anything about the Brits. The English. Where are they? Where are they? I want to know, because they will create a lot of subversive activities. I guarantee you that. And the Russians will react and say, oh, see, the Russians are the bad dudes. My friends, I cannot believe this. If this is the real document that these guys really gave to Zelensky and the European Union, it confirms my conviction nowadays. Those guys are mediocre at best. That's what they are. That's what they are. I'm sorry. I'm not an expert. I'm not a genius. But this document, it's toddler level. Why? The Russians, what did they win? Nothing. Promises, promises, promises. And then they will violate, according to these guys, and they will be smacked after these guys regroup. De facto recognition? What are the security guarantees given to the Russians? Blah, 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 blah. Zero. I don't believe this is the document. I think this is a fake. Just so you know. Right now, I didn't read it before I made this video. Just so you know, I thought I like to be spontaneous, because it's not hard. The level is so low that it's so easy to see through them. It's like a pea. It's not nothing, like a pea, just see through it. Well, sometimes it's yellow from the beer or whatever you ate. But other than that, just a pea. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.